when the world has got you down. And
Alzheimer's sucks. It's an equal opportunity disease that chips away at everything we hold dear. And to date, there's no cure. So until there is, we continue to fight with the most powerful tool in our arsenal, love. This is Love Conquers Alz, a real and really positive podcast that takes a deep dive into everything Alzheimer's, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And now, here are your hosts, Susie Singer-Carter and me, Don Priess.
Hello, everybody. I'm Susie Singer-Carter.
And I'm Don Priess, and this is Love Conquers Alz. Hello, Susan.
Donald, hello. How are
Yes. I'm swell,
Yes.
and yourself. Yes.
you? Yes.
Yes, I am. I am me.
Yes, I am. Wow.
Yeah. What's happening?
I think you need some rest is what I think. I don't know.
I do.
Are you
I
tired?
Do.
Yeah, me
just a wee
too.
bit.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
It's that
good
going to
that,
bed at
you know,
3:30 in the morning thing every morning, and having coffee at 2 in the morning. I think that's a bad idea.
I don't know. Yeah, it may
Just
be,
a
but
thought.
it's just a pattern we're in now. Ever since working and moving, this is what we do. We are we drink a lot of caffeine, and we're so hyped up, like we're hopped up on not bennies but on caffeine.
Yeah. And dinner, which we eat at midnight. So it's
This
it's
is the life
perfect-
of filmmakers. We can't help it. It's never ending. But the good thing is that our documentary's coming out August
Yes.
1st. No Country for Old People is going to be a 3-part series, docu-series, and it starts on August 1st, and we really would love everybody to go to Amazon, stream it, watch it, and if you like it, review it so that other people will get a chance to get that on their radar, because everybody needs to know all the information that's in this documentary. It's so important, and we've spent quite a lot of sweat equity into this to really expose what's going on, so that maybe we can protect others from going through what others have already gone through and are going through right now, which is not pleasant. The opposite of pleasant.
I was thinking that
right?
it's taken us over 3 years to get to this point, and you think of all the suffering that's been going on during those 3 years every day.
Yeah.
And it's and between now and the time it actually airs on August 1st, how much more will be. And that's why this is so important, and why we need to get this message out and make change and make it now, because it's just too many people are falling to the system, and it has to be changed, and now.
And our system may be even getting worse if that's even possible. So, we have to prepare for that as well. And it's a poop show sometimes life. But you know what? The good thing is that we know that we are launching a movement called Roar. And you can go to our website at nocountryforoldpeople.com, and you can check it out. It stands for Respect, Oversight, Advocacy, and Reform for Long-Term Care. It's a way to activate and galvanize our public and our collective to really speak out and be a voice for the voiceless. And we do know that it might seem hopeless, but it's not, because everything that seemed hopeless before, our Me Too movement, our Black Lives Matter, our LGBTQ, all these movements required a collective voice, and that collective voice cannot be ignored. It just can't. So it's very important that we pull together as a community again, because we can't do it. We can't rely on people who have been, actually there's been so many people who have been tirelessly advocating, and it doesn't work. Traditional advocacy doesn't work in these situations that are subsidized by lots of money. So but we are more powerful than that. That is our currency. We are the currency.
And it's truly a collective too. It has nothing to do with what side of the aisle you stand on, whether you're right, left. The system doesn't care, and frankly, aging doesn't care. where you stand.
It's equal opportunity.
This affects everybody. Yes, absolutely.
It is. And
so let's all do it together.
Do it together, yes. And is that a good segue into our guests that we are going to invite on? I'm very happy.
We're going to find out. We can try that and see if it is a good segue.
Let's try that, because we have a very this is one of our guests. This is going to be her third time on Love Conquers Alz, and but it's a very special occasion, and such an amazing resource. I'm not going to give it away. You introduce, and then we'll love them up. We'll give them a lot of love because we love them.
Sounds good to me.
Don.
Today's episode is a celebration, not just of an extraordinary milestone, but of a movement. We are joined by two remarkable women from Alz Authors, the global community of authors writing about Alzheimer's and dementia, where it is said, one story can change a life, hundreds can change a culture. Marianne Sciucco is a registered nurse, author of numerous books including Blue Hydrangeas and Alzheimer's Love Story, and a founding member of Alz Authors. She turned her decades of dementia care into powerful storytelling, then lived the story herself, caring for both her parents. Joining her is Christy Byrne Yates, a licensed educational psychologist, author, and coach. In building a legacy of love, she shares her experience caring for her parents while raising her own children, truly living the sandwich generation life. Christy and Marianne blend lived wisdom with professional insight, co-hosting the Alz Authors podcast. And today, they're here to talk about the Alz Authors 10th anniversary and their upcoming film festival. So without further ado, let's say hello to Marianne Sciucco and Christy Byrne Yates. Hello.
Wow. Hello, Marianne and Christy. Welcome.
Thank you for all those kind words.
Thank you. We do our best.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve it. 10 years is a milestone.
I know. Who knew it was only supposed to be for 1 month?
Right?
We thought it was for 1 month.
You're a pioneer, because we started Love Conquers Alz at the end of 2019, right before COVID. And I feel like 5 years has been, almost 6 years. It's like, how did we last, And you're going, 10 years is like that's like trailblazing. You were trailblazing back then, right?
Yeah,
so how did it all get started?
Oh my goodness. I had this idea of trying to connect other authors of books on Alzheimer's and dementia to help cross-promote one another. It was not a altruistic endeavor at first. It's like, let's see if we can get, some people to pay attention to us. So we embarked on a 1-month program. There were 5 of us at the time, and 3 of us really clicked and enjoyed what we were doing. We were blogging for each other and sharing social media posts and things like that back in 2015. And then we got back together a year later and said, why don't we start a blog, and instead of talking about our books, we'll invite other people to talk about their books. So we didn't know what would happen. We thought, well, is anybody going to want to write a blog post for us? Because nobody knows who we are. So we said, well, we'll give it a try. It was for June. We needed 20 blog posts. We did 1 a day, Monday to Friday each week. And at the end of the month, we still had blog posts coming in. So we said, well, What are we going to do with this? Well, we'll just keep it going. We'll see what happens. And here we are.
Wow. Amazing. And it always boggles my mind, because, it's like when I did My Mom and the Girl, my short film, I thought people were encouraging me to do a film on Alzheimer's. I was like, just what the world needs is another film on Alzheimer's, right? And then I really stand corrected, because people do need, the more stories, the better, right? And so, you think about, here you are, like, I don't know how many books and authors you've had on how many have you had?
We're hitting 400.
400. So, and those are people that have written many of them, multiple books, right?
Some of them, yeah.
And so when you think about how many stories there are, but we can't have enough stories. Isn't that right? Don't you think?
Right. No, with all of these stories, people still don't know anything about this disease. We need more stories, and we need them coming from other places around the world and other voices too.
And Christy, how did you become involved in this amazing venture?
Yeah, I bask in the wisdom of these women who started this program. And Marianne contacted me. I guess she found my book or someone referred it to her. And
I figured that out.
They were looking, they were looking. Anyway, so she asked me if I'd be interested, and I was very interested. I was a self-published author, but I had a story to tell, and I have to tell you, it was very cool to be a part of it. But it was shortly after, and this is in 2021, when I published my book, and then shortly after that, Marianne contacted me. And it wasn't too long after that they did a poetry reading online, and I attended that, and I was blown away. I was blown away by the quality of poets, that all of these people were telling stories, heartfelt stories, and I just said, hey, I want to do more with you guys. Tell me. I had recently taken early retirement after working 20 years in the school system as a school psychologist, and really wanted to focus on supporting people in the sandwich generation. And I said, what can I do? I'm a volunteer. Because I have helium hands, right? Whenever somebody says, hey, we need somebody to do something, my hand just shoots up. I don't even have any control over it. But I jumped in.
Wait, mental note.
I jumped in, and I have enjoyed it so much. And so it's so impressive what they've done in really 10 short years, and just the quality of authors that are there, but also podcasters and storytellers and filmmakers like yourself, Susie. It was just so incredible. And so we're just very excited about this 10-year anniversary, and I love hearing Marianne tell the story, and any of the founders tell the story about how they found each other, kind of like, who knew this was going to happen? So it's really, really wonderful.
So how different is I was going to just say, how different is the landscape, do you feel, in awareness, knowledge, public knowledge of Alzheimer's, but not just Alzheimer's, the disease, but how it affects everyone? How different is it now than it was when you first started 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I think that there's, because of so much more being shared, people aren't afraid to talk about it. When I first published my book, people didn't want to even know about it, and thought that it was terrible to write a book about Alzheimer's. And there weren't that many books available while I was writing it. I tried to do research, and I was looking for memoirs and novels, and there wasn't much out there. But now, there's new books coming out every week. And we have been inundated with requests for people that want to be a part of Alz Authors. And, people come to our events. The podcast has got excellent downloads. We know that people are listening. We know that people are reading. And I think it's a big change from 10 years or even 15 or so years, from when I started with writing the book.
I think it's such a great niche, because I was going to say, I think it's such a great niche that you guys have carved out, because you have become the preeminent destination for people with books on dementia and Alzheimer's and caregiving, because that was not there before you. And you bring a quality, the way that you curate these books. You curate them with a sense of quality and discern. And so when people do read a book that's recommended by you, by Alz Authors, we know it's going to be good. And that's that's incredible, because nobody has time to waste on something that's written poorly. It's like films. The same thing. I was invited to go to film because we did an Alzheimer's film, and we'd go and watch some of these films and wonder, how did they ever get made? They're so destructive. They're not productive. Yeah.
And then how did they even get chosen for the festivals? It seemed there was no. It's just here it exists, so therefore we'll put it in. That's not
exactly.
What you do. Just because it exists doesn't mean that it.
Right. You've raised the bar, and that's important, because that information is incredibly important information that needs to be accurate.
And I want to say, I think what's really cool and very unique and necessary is that there are so many genre of books and art forms represented that are part of the Alz Authors families. There are children's books, right? How to talk to children about someone who has dementia. I come from working in schools, and I know that learning how to tell children about things like what's going on with grandma, what's going on with grandpa, or what have you, that's so important. And then we have books written from people who are currently experiencing and living with some form of dementia. That's hugely powerful because it's just a beautiful roadmap. And they're vital, really wonderful writers, and it's great for people to see this because we're also dispelling and kind of shattering some of the stereotypes that are out there, and
100%,
people are seeing
100%.
a different side, and that there's life after a diagnosis, and how do we live a great life with that. So I think it's really important to see all these different kinds of books and art forms told from many different stories. Fiction books are fabulous because we can relate to them a little differently. So it's all genre, right? So I think that's really important to point out.
I love that. And I do think fiction is great too, right? Because then you can guide it, and with the knowledge that you have, it's so important. And I see it in films all the time. I actually get angry when I watch something that's lauded. I won't mention certain things, but there's been so many films that have been lauded, and you think it's only they're lauded because there haven't been enough, and because they're really inaccurate, and they're really misrepresenting, and they're just not accurate, and so it sets up a false kind of bar if you haven't gone through it yet. So and it can be very disappointing. So I think it's so important to have that accuracy and finesse with how you curate and what gets chosen. What I know, Marianne and I, you've spoken about that before on our other podcasts about how you curate and what gets chosen and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, and we've grown even stricter than when we started. We would kind of, we give the authors the benefit of the doubt. We were doing a book a week. And now we're doing a book a month, so we only have 12 spots a year, so we have to be even more discerning. So every book is vetted by one of the acquisitions authors. All of them have cared for a parent, primarily a parent or parents with dementia, but also have written their own books, so they know what a good book is supposed to be like. And they read the books from, cover to cover, and corresponding with the authors, and then the authors have to meet another certain set of criteria. They have to have an active social media presence, and they have to be out there working their own book as well, and they have to have a certain number of reviews. And we take about 60 of the books that come our way. And one of the things that we did was this year when we went down to 12 books, because we were still getting books that we would like to feature, but they kind of just weren't 100%, so we started a new thing called the recommended reads. So we will put books in that category. There's a category on the website just for that. So it's kind of small right now. We haven't really, we haven't expanded on it too much. But we were getting so many books. We were backed up by 6 months. And
I can imagine.
We were uncomfortable with that because the authors would be so excited, and then to find out they had to wait 6 months to see their book on Alz Authors, and by then they would have lost their enthusiasm. So we decided, this was one way to kind of fine-tune it even more. And then in the past, for the first 8 or 9 years, we didn't charge any fees, and so then we had to impose a fee. But they get a lot.
Okay.
They get a lot for their money. They every new author who comes in gets a podcast. They're on the podcast, and they get to sit on the homepage for a month as the featured author of the month. And they're in the newsletter. They get twice in the newsletter. They get a social media blast. They may be invited to some of our virtual events, depending on what we're talking about. So we give a lot for that. We believe that it's money well spent, and now they're on the right site for people looking for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because when my mom was diagnosed in early, like what was it, 2009-ish, around that time.
Somewhere around there.
First of all, there was no podcast about it. There was barely any books. I think the only book I read was Greg O'Brien's, right? And that was, it was so raw that I couldn't even like get through it because it was very disturbing, right? I wasn't ready for that information. Greg O'Brien wrote a memoir basically about his Alzheimer's journey, and he's an incredible journalist and incredible writer. And I actually had the chance to interview him all these years later, and he was just a delightful human being. But there wasn't much to go. There wasn't a lot of information, right? So you guys, and I can tell you that I've had so many authors come to me and go, so Alz Authors, can you give us an introduction? And I say, well, that's not I won't do it if I don't know the book. I will not,
Can you tell where somebody's coming from? Because what we've noticed now is the space has become very cluttered with maybe some people who aren't in it for the right reason, who are in it because they see it as an opportunity to make a few bucks here and there. And, you see it in some of the podcasts, you see it in social media, you see people who are out there for the wrong reasons. Can you sense that? Have you run into that as people submit their books?
Yeah, we do.
I think so. And we are definitely about, like we say, lighting the way for others. And it's not just the caregivers, it's also people who are experiencing and living with some form of dementia, but also just a big caring heart for the caregivers, because the impact on the family is huge, and it lasts for a long time, and it changes who we are. I mean, Susie, you probably have experienced that. It changes who you are, and so we want to be able to show the love, the compassion, as well as the struggle, right? So I think we're looking always for people who are in it for the right reasons too. So I think that's really smart. Dawn, you're right. I mean, there are some folks who might not be where they're going, but I think Marianne just said it. We're all of us on the not just the acquisitions team, but everybody who's a volunteer at Alz Authors has been touched by this, and so we're definitely coming from a place of love for people and caring about where we're going. So,
and understanding experience. That's key, right? It's key with something like this, because still our medical industry doesn't really have a lot. They're very uninformed for the most part about dementia and Alzheimer's, so they're really not a resource for most of us. When someone gets they're getting a diagnosis, and you're given like maybe a pamphlet, maybe,
and a couple of drugs, and there you go.
Come back next year.
Yeah, and it's very frightening. It's scary. It's beyond scary, and so you're left to your own devices, and trying to figure out, navigate it is just incredibly hard. So Dawn and I have seen the industry, like as you have, grow and grow and grow. And we've heard that the 5 million caregiver stat like thrown around to like the hungry wolves, and we are so worried about that, because it's important that we keep it safe and authentic. So, but you guys are doing a great job at that, obviously, Alz, and and lots of respect for you for that. How so we talked about people who have stories, and there's so many stories, but there's always room for more stories, because everybody has just a little bit more story, right? A different story that might resonate with another person, that might just hit them right where they live. So what if someone's never been an author, what do you recommend? How do they start?
That is a great question.
You just start writing, because when you start in what you have, by the time you think you get to the end, you're going to have to redo the whole thing all over anyway. Then you might discover your beginning is in the latter half of the book. and then you might
Right.
discover that there's much of it that you need to just delete. So
Right.
the most important thing is to start writing, because you can't edit an empty page, a blank page. You need
Right.
to have, start putting things down. If you saved, if you kept a diary or a journal, if you have correspondence, emails, letters, text messages, whatever you have throughout that journey, you can turn that into resources for your story to help joggle your memory so that you can put things into order and figure it all out. So, you just need to get started, and it's going to be a long process. It's going to be like, your movie. It's going to take years, and you're going to have to restart
Right.
again and figure it all out over and over again. And you do about 20 drafts before you're really even done.
And
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
specific guidance that is that something that you offer to somebody? If you see promise in a book, you say, wow, there's a lot here, but it's not a book. Is that something that you do?
Some of us have.
Yeah, I think, right, Marianne, we sometimes, some of our acquisitions editors, right, have read a book and said, it's not, here's some things that we
Right.
would
Yeah.
note. And if you kind of look at this, maybe make some changes, it could just be finding a really great line editor, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. There are a lot of ways to get the writing coaching you might need, but so yeah, we would definitely do that, because we want our authors' work to represent them well too, right?
Yeah.
So that's important. And I think we're kind of entering a weird place, right? And I don't know how you both see this too, but in the advent of AI, the temptation is to just do it that way. And I would caution people and say, write from your authentic place, because that's where we're going to find heart, and we're going to find something beautiful. Sometimes, we do have some books that are written by people who have a medical background, and so we're just looking for, are they presenting things in a readable way, but also not making promises for a final cure or something that may not be truly accurate. So we want to be careful about that, but those are some things to
that
think
makes
about.
sense. Yeah, and I think that it's a great point that you bring up about AI, because as a writer, and I've been a writer my whole career, and I feel like how does that impact us as writers? Because I wouldn't use AI to write, although I'm not opposed to it helping me draft a post for the internet.
Right.
That's helpful. I have to say, I have never not edited it, because it's never like my voice, and it's never exactly human, and and it always sounds derivative. But it gets you started if you're in a hurry,
For sure.
right? Yeah.
I think it's totally legit for things like a post
tool.
or
Yeah.
something on your website kind of thing. Punch it up or make it clear or concise, right?
Yeah,
And I
right.
definitely think it can be a great first draft. Who was it? Anne Lamott. That's your. Can I say the word? Is it the shitty first draft? I mean, that's what Anne Lamott talks about, right?
Of course. I read that book. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe that's where that comes from. But yes, you can go back and edit, and but there are, and we do have, for authors that we've accepted, we have a Facebook group for our authors who want to continue to hone their craft, and so we try to engage as much as we can in there too. So.
And we've
That's
done
great.
workshops too. We do workshops. A lot of the time it's more on marketing than on
That's
writing,
where I was
'cause
going to ask
they've already
next.
written a
Yeah.
book. So they've
Yeah.
already written the book. So now we try to do workshops with them to help them get it out there. And
That's so great, because how many people can get a publishing deal? Most people, especially on a niche topic like Alzheimer's, they're going to probably end up self-publishing, correct?
a lot of them
A
are
lot, yeah.
self-published or small presses. But even with a small press, they only market you for a brief time, a few months, and then you're on your own. So, and I always say marketing is a degree in college. You get a bachelor's. So just because you wrote a book and you go to a few webinars and read some blog posts, you're not going to know how to market your book. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Worse than
For a
writing
And
film,
it's
it's a
ever
lot.
changing.
a
It's ever
book.
changing. It's ever changing too because of the technology. The way
And
you
the landscape,
market a
yeah.
book is completely different now than it was
com-
2-3 years ago. It's just,
Same as a movie. Same as a movie.
Yeah.
Like it used to
Yeah.
be, you go to Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is like it's yesterday's news now. Now it's what is it, Don?
Letterboxd.
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 Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that one.
We
Oh yeah,
hadn't
that's
either,
the
but
one.
Now we have to.
That's the one. So now we
So
have
are
to
there-
acquaint
yeah.
ourselves. Yeah.
No, are there other than just books or poetry? Are there other mediums that come into play, i.e., music, film? That it's becoming part of the Alz Authors universe.
Well,
Yeah,
they're doing a
because some
film
of-
festival.
Right. Some of the authors, that's what they do. They do artwork where they work with people with dementia and do art workshops and things. We're doing a book right now. It's called, it's a 6-word memoir book. Are you familiar with the 6-word memoirs? You write
Well,
your
you told
story
me
in,
that-
using 6 words? Yeah. So we put out a call to people on the 6 Words website to tell us their dementia story in 6 words, and so we got like a lot. So I said, why don't we make a book? And we put out a call to some of the authors that we know work with art and with people with dementia, and asked them, do you have any artwork you could share for this book? And they've said, oh yeah, we have like 4 people that are going to participate already.
Nice.
So
Give us one
yeah.
of the Give us one of the memoirs. Can you share one memoir of the 6-word memoir?
I'll share the one that was the first one I ever heard, which was from Susan Cushman, one of our authors. And she did not have a good relationship with her mother. And they were estranged for many, many years, but she stepped up to care for her when her mother had Alzheimer's. And this is what she said: the upside to Alzheimer's, new mother. Because her mother forgot what it was that bothered her about her daughter, and the two of them became best friends. And at the end of her mother's life, they were very close, had a loving relationship. So
Isn't that incredible?
it's
Talk
gives you
about a
chills
silver
thinking
lining,
about it.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not the only one. We have other authors in our organization who have had the same experience,
Yeah.
caring for somebody that they didn't get, they had a turbulent relationship with.
Right.
And I
And
think we
it
have,
turned out good.
Marianne, don't we have some folks who are podcasters, and maybe they've written something as well, but their primary position is that they do podcasting, and they are putting out information around Alzheimer's, dementia, caregiving, and so they're part of our Alz Authors family. And
Like Lance Slatton.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lance Slatton.
Well, it all comes down to, we want to give people like a lot of different media to choose from. Maybe they don't like to read, they don't have time, they don't want to sit down and read a book. It's hard when you're a caregiver, when you're reading a book, that's what you're doing. You aren't doing anything else. Your hands are occupied, your eyes are occupied. What can you do? Well, you can listen to an audiobook, or you can listen to a podcast. So we provide the podcast. Maybe you don't like books at all. You just prefer to watch a film, a documentary, or even, just a story. So we try to find those, and they're obscure things. I mean, people like Hollywood and stuff. They don't need us, so they don't come. But we work with people that are like struggling to find, viewers or listeners or readers. So that's kind of what we do. So the film festival, I've been wanting to do it for a while, talking about it for over a year, I think. And we have right now 5 films that we're going to present. It may turn out to be only 4, but that's okay. And we're going to do it in the fall. It starts in September, runs through December. And how we're going to work it is that you will get a link to watch the movie at your own convenience a week or so before. We gather together online to have a discussion with the creators. And then you'll have, be able to talk and talk to them and learn more about it and share stories and all of that. And then everything we do is recorded. So now we have content for our podcast And we have content for our YouTube channel, so people can, again, watch on YouTube if they want, or listen to it on the go on a podcast. And those people that maybe didn't make the meeting or didn't know about it, a year from now, say, well, what's this all about? And then they can go look for the movie as well. So we have you, Susie,
Yes.
presenting the first hour of No Country for Old People, so we're thrilled about that. And then we have Mary Crescenzo, who wrote a play. Her play was called Planet A, and she is a person who has spent most of her life working with people with dementia using the arts, music, dance, artwork. She's an artist. She's multimedia, very talented, and she's a phenomenal writer. So she had written this play, and they filmed it. And it's kind of unusual. When I first started to watch it, I was kind of like, what is this? But the writing was just so beautiful that I just couldn't stop listening to it. And it was just her friends in the acting program reading the script, and each one was in character, telling a different part of the story from dementia, like whether it was the person who had the dementia, or it was their daughter, or whoever it was. It was very compelling. We have Frank Silverstein, who did a short film called Lousy, Love in the Time of Dementia, about caring for both of his parents who had dementia at the same time. That was very trying, as you can imagine. And then C. Nathan Brown, who is with Exposed Dementia, and his movie is called The Present, and it's a Christmas story, and it's about a family dealing with the aftermath of the loss of the mother to Alzheimer's, and now it's the holidays and how they're handling that. And Kitty Norton, Wine, Women, and Dementia. We're hoping that she'll be joining us. We got our fingers crossed because hers is a great film. And I love her whole story because I love RVing. And when she was on her journey,
And
she
wine.
was and wine. She was one of our
women.
authors. Yeah, it's perfect. She was one of our authors early on, and that was with her blog.
Yes.
Lickety Glitz, I think that was what it was called.
Yeah.
And
Split.
so-
Was it Splits? Lickety Splits, I think it
Lickety
was.
Splits, Lickety Splits.
Something
Anyway,
like that,
she
yeah.
kept the blog, and she developed a big audience of caregivers, other women. So when her journey ended, she got in an RV, and she traveled all across the country, United States, to meet these women. And they filmed it in their discussions, and
Yep.
they're talking about caregivers, and they're having a glass of wine.
Yep.
And it's funny, and it's just delightful. So she's had a lot of success with that. She's doing really well. So we hope that Kitty will be a part of it. So that's what we're doing. And I've learned about 2 other things since we started this, but I think we're going to cap it at that.
Yeah.
Marianne, it just means that next year we have to make this an annual event, okay?
do it
We're just
again.
giving ourselves more work. Let's be honest. You and I are going to be at this again, so yeah.
Yeah.
We hope it's successful. We did one with the movie called Keys, Bags, Names, Words, which was from the UK. And that was very impactful. And that had a lot to do with dementia in the arts. And we tried that format. Watch the movie when you can. Caregivers don't have time to sit at the front of the screen at 2:00 on Tuesday. So we watch it and then come back in and we'll talk about it. So that seemed to
Right.
work really well.
Well, it's like a book club. You read it first,
Yeah,
then you get together
exactly.
and chat, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That works.
I don't like streaming videos and movies on these Zoom calls and things because they always get messed up. It's just
Always.
not,
They're out of
you can't count on
sync.
it.
They're freezing.
Yeah.
They're doing. Oh, it's terrible. Yeah.
Crashes.
It's hard.
You
We've
can't
done a
count
lot
on
of
it.
them. We've done a lot
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
You can't do it. So that's
But-
why we said let's not do that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a tricky
Oh my
thing,
God, yeah. And, I mean, we lament over every second of every frame, and then you've got it up there going.
And you don't even know how people are seeing it. Everyone's seeing it.
Yeah.
Some people it's
Yeah,
freezing.
right.
Some people it's you have no idea. So
No.
Yeah, it's so difficult for us. We're literally flop sweating. It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. So, well, that's much better. That makes much more sense, and they're going to get a much better experience with the film, and so that's good. I'm interested. One other thing is a little left turn, but I'm interested, Christy, because you said you work with children before, right? And I think it's so important to introduce dementia and Alzheimer's to children as young as you can. as young as you think that they can understand it, and because I personally saw the difference between the children of the frontline providers who were there, like the CNAs and stuff, when my mom was, in assisted living, and they would bring their children on the weekends, and the children were so nonplussed about it. They were just that's Jack. Jack, here's the remote, because the Jack was getting agitated, right? Yes. And they just had no problem with it. It's like, no, you here it is. You left it over here. Oh, you want water? Right. Okay, hold on. And this is like a 5-year-old going and not getting upset, not just understanding what's going on and not disrespecting it, but just knowing that's what Jack does. Yes. And I think it's important, because and juxtaposed to that was me bringing my friend's daughter to visit my mom. I was babysitting her, and she had never been around, apparently, elder people, and she was beyond frightened, like so scared. And I thought how sad that was, right? Because she's missing out, and and our other generation's missing out, because there's so much to give each other. So right. What do you think? I mean,
I feel really strongly that it is important to prepare kids, not to lessen fear, and you can normalize this. Even though we know Alzheimer's is not a normal part of not everyone's going to get it. It's not a normal part of aging, but you know what is? Love is normal. Compassion is normal. And children are natural. What I found working in school systems, children, left to their own devices, they're just really compassionate. They get it.
Yes, they are.
This one over here needs a little extra time. That one over there needs a little help now and then. They don't get upset about it until someone tells them, oh, it's not fair that child's... Adults kind of mess that up a little bit.
Right, but, exactly.
We can kids, like you were describing, you know what? They want to be compassionate. It's a natural thing for them. And but if they're kept away from it, right? If we are trying to protect them, that's more about our discomfort as the adult than it is the child's discomfort. Now, there may be times when a child is highly sensitive. They may have their own special needs, and then we need to be aware of that and cognizant of that, and then approach that maybe a little differently. But I think it's important to always let kids be able to have that exposure, especially if it's a loved one,
100%,
and it's so good for them. And what I also like to say to people is, in caregiving, as a sandwich generation parent, you're training your kids about how to treat you. So you know what?
Exactly.
They need to see you acting in really compassionate, wonderful ways too. And you're not always going to. Sometimes you're going to show up and you're not going to be your best self. Yeah. But that's okay too. You can talk about that. But it's about having those age-appropriate conversations. But I agree with you. I think it's so important. We think we're sheltering kids, but who we're sheltering is ourselves. And we have to check ourselves a little bit.
I say that all the time. I say that all the time. That when I thought I was, helping my mom avoid embarrassment, but it was really mine in the beginning. That it was my embarrassment, and so I learned that. And I also learned, when my mom was not doing well in the nursing home, which was instigated this documentary. My granddaughter, who was 2 at the time, only met my mom because it was during COVID on Zoom once a week as a baby. And when she finally got to see her, and Mom was in bed, and she just climbed right on top of the bed. I don't know if you've seen that, if you remember that, Marianne, because it's in the trailer, but she climbed right up there, and she just got on and just patting her and petting her and saying, "Nanny, Nanny, Nanny," and then looking back at her, and my mom would smile, and then my mom would go to kiss her, and the two of them would kiss, and then she'd lay her head down. They talked. They had a conversation.
Without saying a word.
Without saying a word.
Absolutely.
We sat there as adults. We literally, I get chills thinking about it. We literally were like, what is going on? Oh my God, this is amazing. And I had people tell me, when my mom lived with me with Alzheimer's, they said, oh, is this fair to your daughter? Because my daughter was a teenager. Are you sure you want to bring your mom in? It was like, maybe I shouldn't. Am I doing the wrong thing? You know, and I put this in my short film where a year later, my daughter said, and it was not easy. She said, "I'm not ready for nanny to go." It was the best experience we could have had.
Yes. It is real life learning compassion in real time. I always say empathy in action is compassion. And so when we do that, when we allow that to happen, of course it's going to be hard at the end. Of course. And yet that's a norm. That is, I happen to believe we're all going to pass away at some point. There are people who believe that never has to happen, but I believe that it probably will. And so it's a normal thing, and we have to be able to talk about it and deal with the hard feelings and realize that we can also get through those and that love will remain. So it's really important to allow kids to just experience human emotions.
We have a ton of kids' books in our collection. They're beautiful. So people can look there. And we have for very young children all the way through grade school and young adult.
I love it. I think it's so important. Everybody go on Alz Authors and look at those books, because that's so important. I read to my little granddaughters. I have another 2-year-old now, and that 2-year-old that I was telling you about is now 5. And, they love books. We read books before bed every night. And I have read them books that were given to me from guests, right? And I read that to them, and they love it. They love it. And so I think, go to Alz Authors and look at the list of books that they have. It's such a great resource. You guys are doing such an amazing thing by aggregating all of this great content. It's just it's really a gift. It's really a gift.
Thanks.
So I just thank you so much.
And anything
Thank you.
For the 10th anniversary, are there any other big special events for the 10th anniversary, or what is it just kind of,
well,
do
we're
you have
running
things laid out for the year? Or?
Yeah, well, some of them we've already done, so that's, we've had a few virtual events. We were doing a book club. We did that for the first half of the year, and that stopped. Now all those sessions are on our podcast and YouTube channel, so people can catch up if they missed it. But we're doing a giveaway, and you can go on the site, alzauthors.com, and enter the giveaway. And we're giving away mini custom caregiver collections, one every month. So the custom caregiver collection is a collection of books that we will curate for you. And it can be as many books as you want. There's usually about 15 in a set, but you can have as many as you want. Some people have had 30 books. Yeah.
What?
They come with with bookshelves, and it's like a whole thing. And we will help you find the books that you want. So if you were just looking for books, say, I did one for a support group where I live, and it was mainly women caring for their husbands. So that was the books that we chose. And
it's
we threw in some kids'
beautiful.
books.
That's so
and,
great.
So you could win a mini collection, and it's 3 titles. And you tell us what you are looking for. If you want a caregiver guide, if you want a book about caring for your father or your wife, whatever you're looking for, we will put that together for you. So we're giving away 12 of them. So we've already done, I think, 4 or 5. So go on the website and put your name in. You never know, you might win it.
So good. That's a good deal, you guys. That's amazing. I mean, that is you guys. So good. So good. You do so many good things, and you're always busy. And I feel like I've been out of the loop for the last 3 years because of the documentary. I feel like I've tried to stay in touch with everybody as much as possible, but just getting our podcast done has been because it's just been hard, and we did not want to lose. I did not want to stop the podcast because I love it so much. I love being part of this community. I think I still have a lot to share, and I will continue to have a lot to share, and I love talking to other people with their shares. So here we are. Now we can spend a little more time with our community, and I love you. I love Alz Authors. You guys do incredible work. So thank you for sharing your 10th anniversary with us.
Thank you.
And you keep mentioning
Thank you.
love, Christy. We're all about love. We're all
Right.
about love. That's
That's
right,
great.
Don. Why are we all about love, Don?
You want to know why? Well, that's because love is
Yeah.
powerful, love is contagious, and love conquers alls. We do thank everyone for watching, listening today. If you like what you heard and saw, well, just like us, share, get the word
Love
out there,
us.
and definitely go to Alz. Love us, and definitely go to alzauthors.com and check out what's going there, because there's a lot going on. And
There's
we
a
do
lot going
appreciate
on.
We appreciate
You
you
listening to us
checking
and you
in with us.
watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And watch for
Always.
No Country for Old People, August 1st,
Yes.
Amazon.
On Amazon.
We can't wait for everyone to see this. It's really important. And again, thank you for joining us today. So
Bye.
take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
You're so welcome.